Good morning. Woke up today realizing I had missed the announcement of the update for the Apple Vision Pro. And today just wanted to briefly chat about it and give you my first impressions of the ultra wide screen on the Apple Vision Pro. So I've got my Vision Pro here. It's being updated right now, and I got my Mac right next to it that we'll go ahead and use. And my hope is to keep today pretty short, relatively speaking, to some of my other videos, and just give you my first impressions for what I think about it and how it might affect my impressions of Apple Vision Pro as a whole, and also how I use it for productivity and work. First couple of things. When I saw the update, I just downloaded it as normal. You go into settings, just like you might do on your iPhone, download the update. I saw that there was a developer update, and I just installed it. So I'm seeing this for the first time, and in the developer beta season over the last summer, there's been a lot that has sort of changed and sort of been tweaked, including things like the way that you get home and the way that you view the time and your battery status. Those are very simple things with visionOS 2. Now, we're a couple of iterations in now, and over the summer I'd say that we saw some like performance regressions, but things seem relatively smooth right now. Like it's very quick for me to get to my apps and switch back and forth. It's very quick for me to get home. And actually one thing I noticed is how quickly this showed up. So if I have my Mac on the table right here and I open it up, it boots up right away. I can log in with Touch ID, and almost immediately, and actually even before I logged in, there's a connect button, which I can click. And it's pretty quickly shown up here. And I'm already noticing something. So in the past, it kind of shows up, I think, as what's effectively a 4K TV, which I see right here. Now, when I look at this, it is pretty much the size of a large monitor. It's nearly the size of my flat screen TV. But what I'm noticing now is different than last time. There's a couple of things. It's got new iconography up here to show that it's Mac Virtual Display. And importantly, there's actually a really slight curve already. I can kind of see it. And it feels pretty nice and snappy as well, which is great. Now, my understanding is that I can use this as normal. I've been editing a video here. And pretty quickly, I've also noticed something else, which is that I can route my audio through my Apple Vision Pro's I think they're called audio pods, whereas before I could only do them in the MacBook Pro speakers and have it play out of here. So as I edit, I'm actually seeing here, start. But if you're trying to build a relationship, I can hear it directly here, and I have less concern about this audio leakage outward, which is really nice for someone who uses this thing to edit quite a bit. Now, all of the other sort of features of visionOS are still here. I can open up, let's go ahead and say Ulysses, where I'm writing a script, and I can position it over to the side over here, and I can use my keyboard and mouse to still control the things that are going on over here. So I've got a video about the submerged video that Apple released for Apple Vision Pro that I'm doing here, and then I can immediately switch back and do this over here. Now, there's a lot I want to talk about in terms of how the mouse behaves in a visionOS environment versus on a macOS environment, because there is quite a bit of difference. But for now, I want to get to the meat of the video, which is the big new feature. So you can see here that there are three options. The normal, which I'm already seeing some differences. The audio routing, it's a little bit clearer in some cases and a little bit of a curve. But if I go wide, it'll stretch out this display. So let's go and click that. Taking a second for it to readjust. And it feels like it's basically covering my entire field of view. It's kind of like I have two really big side-by-side monitors. It gives me a lot of space to position things out here. But actually, I'm noticing for like Final Cut, it would be awesome to just really make this super wide, maybe even bring it in a little bit closer, bring this over like this, and I can kind of just skim through my edit as quick as possible. Go ahead and spare you the audio here. This is amazing, actually. I'm already seeing how this is going to totally change my workflow over here. I see a lot more clips on one side. I get a lot more detail with my controls over here on the inspector. And if I really want to, I can make this taller and have a really big preview window for me to kind of look at things side by side. And if I wanted to do something like open up my scopes, I could create a lot more space for those in my workspace here and almost have a full size video and a full size scopes with everything else. It's like having a 2-monitor setup, but better. So let's take this to the logical extreme and go ultra wide. This is, wow. This is kind of amazing, actually. I don't know that using Stage Manager is the best use case for this thing, and I'm noticing that all of my menu items are way off there in the corner, but I can make this thing, I mean, I can practically see my entire timeline here if I really wanted to. Let me kill my scopes here. And skim from the very beginning to dang near the very end and have quite a bit of detail of scrubbing. This is like a, I don't know how much I'll use this. There's quite a bit of a curve to it, but this one is almost feeling like it's 3 separate displays, and it's quite miraculous for me to be able to look at this way. Now, I can still scale things up and down, and you can see that as I scale it down, it gets flatter, and as I scale it up, it wraps around me more, like intelligently, which is great. And I think video editing makes a lot of sense for. I think that there's moments where I'll probably use the wide and normal and less so the ultra wide for video editing. But what I was thinking for this ultra wide is actually one of the ways that I develop my videos is that I use Obsidian. And in particular, it has a mode here called stacked tabs that utilizes the horizontal nature of a display quite a bit. And so here, I can get really kind of wild with this thing. I could probably pop this graph window out. I could have many, many different windows open. And I can just continually kind of plug along here and dive deeper and deeper into my thing and like never run out of space. This is going to be a game changer for me as I develop these videos and go through the pre-production process of things. Hi, Miso. So I think that this right here is the thing that is going to change the game when it comes to this Apple Vision Pro and this ultra-wide thing. Look at this. This is actually hilarious that it maintains the aspect ratio in Stage Manager. Anyway, I am just seeing this for the first time. I'm pretty shocked with it, and I'm very excited to dive in more depth. You'll see more of it on this channel. But let me break down. I have to get somewhere really quick. So why don't you come with me and let me break down why this is a game changer for me when it comes to productivity and when it comes to my thoughts around Apple Vision Pro. Love you, baby. So to me, this update with Apple Vision Pro was the thing that most people anticipated the most about this new version of visionOS. And I think that is significant for a couple of reasons. And I want to start personal with my own. For me, when I started using Apple Vision Pro, I was interested in using it as this standalone device because that's kind of how it was pitched. And I got into it and I realized that it's not a great productivity platform on its own. I've talked about this a ton on this channel, that it doesn't have that sort of superhuman productivity interface for a couple of reasons. Mostly because its input resolution is relatively low, and so the information density of the device is also relatively low. It's kind of like trying to do computing on your Apple TV with extra peripherals. That begins to change when you add a keyboard, and it begins to change even more when you add a keyboard and mouse. But it really transforms when you use your Apple Vision Pro with your Mac. Now, in that headset, more than anything else, I have used my Mac as the primary computing environment, which is in some ways a condemnation of the Apple Vision Pro as a device. I can't get my work done on it for the most part, right? Can't edit, can't code, can do a little bit of writing and research, but not a ton. Mostly use it for entertainment in a pure device play. And so where I've landed is that the Apple Vision Pro is basically the most expensive, fanciest accessory for a Mac that you can buy. But it's also a pretty profound experience when you do have it. And that's where the second piece lies, which is that I think people were so excited about this because, yeah, it looks cool to have a giant display that wraps around you. It's amazing to basically have 3 monitors that you can carry with you in a portable manner. But more importantly, it leans into the aspects of the device that highlight the best parts of being a part of the Apple ecosystem and the best parts of using this display in ways that would have never been possible before. Like a really simple solution for Apple would have been to make a dual monitor display or a triple monitor display. But the fact that they made it an ultra-wide wraparound monitor shows me that they understand experientially what the Apple Vision Pro has to offer, which is really no surprise to me. When I sat down inside the Ultrawide, it kind of felt immersive. I think John Gruber talks about how his Mac, like the original Mac that he had, kind of felt like it was going to a destination, and now the Apple Vision Pro is like the ultimate expression of that. Well, this is a marriage of those two ideas. It feels like I'm going to this immersive environment of my Mac on my Apple Vision Pro. It's much better now that I can route the audio into it. It's much better now that I can choose the display size. It's much better now that the display rendering is done on the Mac rather than on the Apple Vision Pro. And that the text is sharper because of that. It feels more like a usable accessory for my Mac. A $3,500 accessory, a clunky accessory, but the only 3 monitor setup that I can carry with me. Here's why this is profound at a broad level. When it comes to this device, I have been vocal in saying that it's basically a developer kit. And if there's one thing that developers want when using this device, it is a pleasant experience using it with their Mac. The more pleasant you can make that experience with the Mac, the better chance you have of this finding a developer out there that is just rabid and loves the form factor, stumbles backwards into loving the form of the Apple Vision Pro itself and creating a killer app for it in the same way that it happened for the Mac, the same way that it happened for the Apple II. So, that's all to say. The reason that I think that this is so interesting is because it leans in to the best features of the device. It is simultaneously one of the biggest condemnations of the device, but it also shows us what Apple's strategy is when it comes to releasing new features, new versions of this product, which is that you make it a great experience for the people that it's targeted to first, and you work from there.